Welcome to Airborne Flight Training. Coming up on this week's episode, nominations open for 2023 Flight Instructor Hall of Fame. Delta Pilots Union considers new contract offer. FAA clarifies private airport charting change. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Nominations open for 2023 Flight Instructor Hall of Fame. The National Association of Flight Instructors announced that nominations for 2023 Flight Instructor Hall of Fame inductees are open and will be accepted until April 1, 2023. Appropriate Flight Instructor Hall of Fame inductees are individuals who have made significant contributions to aviation education and flight instruction while distinguishing themselves in the profession of flight instructing. The Hall of Fame award highlights the fundamental role flight instructors play in populating the aviation industry with competent aviators, and in so doing steadfastly advance the safety of the national air transportation system. NAFI takes no part in judging award candidates. Rather, the association merely oversees the process. NAFI Director of Program Development and Hall of Fame Administrator John Niehaus remarked, quote, "It is important to note that the Flight Instructor Hall of Fame is not a NAFI award. Rather, we administer the program on behalf of the entire aviation and flight training community. To maintain the integrity of the program, the judges represent a wide array of aviation professionals," end quote. And after the break, AAL pilots raise concern over amended cockpit protocols.
There's a difference between charting a steady course and pushing for the ceiling. And for nearly a century, Hartzell Propeller has been defining that difference. It's in our passion for engineering and research and our dedication to testing the limits of performance. We are built on honor. We are Hartzell Propeller.
If it looks good, it usually flies good. The Bristol series of aircraft is proof of that. Furthering their legacy of safety and efficiency, Bristol is proud to feature the Rotax 915 IS Turbo in the current lineup of aircraft. The 915 IS Turbo power plant offers more power than ever before in a light sport aircraft. Learn more about Bristol at www.sportflyingusa.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some other interesting stories. AAL pilots raise concerns over amended cockpit protocols. Allied Pilots Association, the labor union by which American Airlines' 15,000 pilots are represented, has voiced concerns over cockpit procedures recently and ostensibly recklessly implemented by the Fort Worth, Texas-based air carrier. The new protocols reportedly pertain to flight deck callouts and the coordination of PIC and SIC duties during low visibility approaches, rejected takeoffs, and similarly critical phases of flight. Such changes are normally implemented only after pilots receive formal didactic in-person or virtual training on the new or amended procedures and pass a test or series of tests evincing comprehension thereof. Simaero to sell open training slots on Air France FFS. Simaero and Air France have signed a long-term exclusive partnership to provide the training firm's unused training slots on the open market. Under the deal, Simaero will sell open time on the 10 Air France simulators near Charles de Gaulle Airport to third-party clients. The sim slots will be sold for both dry leasing use or ATO training. Air France's fleet of full-flight simulators covers a fairly wide variety of types, 4 Boeing 777 and a 787 FFS, while 2 Airbus A320 and A350 sims are joined by a single A330 sim. Embry-Riddle develops immersive radio training. A handful of ERAU students set to work developing a 6-week program to enhance the quality of radio skills among their international students, and so far the results are promising. Using the school's air traffic control lab and funding from the Undergraduate Research Institute, the group created a realistic training environment to practice the radio calls required throughout a series of routine simulated flights. By rehearsing in the virtual airport environment, international students in the program improved their proficiency to more than 97% as gauged by pre- and post-testing. ANN announcement, now accepting applications for Sun & Fun 2023 stringers. ANN again finds itself in the exciting position of partnering with the Sun & Fun Aerospace Expo in presenting real-time daily news coverage of the first major aviation event of the year. Exciting barely describes what we're feeling, along with an intense workload that just won't quit. For those of you with writing, photography, or videography skills, you may be qualified to join us as a stringer and see Sun & Fun from the inside. If interested in volunteering to be a part of the ANN team, email jim@aero-news.net. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Delta Pilots Union considers new contract offer. Pilot union negotiators at Delta Airlines have finalized the language of a tentative labor agreement by which pilots in the employ of the Atlanta-based legacy air carrier would receive an initial pay increase of 18%. The tentative agreement is to be next considered by the Airline Pilots Association at Delta, which will carefully review its contents for up to 1 week before determining whether the proposal merits a vote by Delta's rank-and-file pilots. If ratified, the new labor agreement, in addition to the immediate 18% pay bump, would afford Delta pilots additional pay increases of 5% after 1 year, 4% after 2 years, and an additional 4% after the contract's 3rd year. Depending upon seniority, aircraft schedule, and numerous additional factors, yearly pay for Delta pilots ranges from $75,000 for starting first officers to more than $300,000 for high seniority wide-body captains. Subject figures are based on 75 flight hours per month. Ergo, ratification of the proposed labor agreement would gross pilots atop Delta's pay scale a tidy $54,000 payout. Notwithstanding the new tentative agreement and the monies promised therein, Delta pilots, owing to the obduracy of the airline's management, have missed out on major pay hikes the likes of those won by pilots at competing air carriers in the aftermath of the COVID madness. And after these messages, FAA clarifies private airport charting changes.
Throughout the globe, Piper Aircraft has hand-selected the very best in company representation, service, and support. From first inquiry to acquisition to product support, Piper Aircraft ownership is seamless and worry-free. Piper Aircraft authorized dealers, factory trained, factory connected.
Well, hello, fellow pilot. I'm John King.
And I'm Martha King.
You know, we've all had our flying lives disrupted lately.
Well, King Schools is here to help you stay up to date with courses that you can access on your desktop, iPad, or iPhone. If you'd like a refresher or just want to expand your aviation horizons, we have a course for you.
So head over to kingschools.com/Rusty today for details.
Welcome back. FAA clarifies private airport charting changes. A bit of confusion regarding VFR charting rules going forward was subtly cleared up this week when the FAA issued a follow-up notice regarding a September publication. The notice had said that, quote, effective November 3, 2022, visual flight rules aeronautical charts will no longer make reference to emergency value in private airport charting, end quote. Worsening the news, it added that, quote, only private airports with landmark value will be retained and charted beyond February 23, 2023, end quote. Many in the general aviation community took this to mean that private airports would largely be absent from future VFR charts, leaving out useful landmarks and safety options for aviators reliant on the maps for navigation. In response, the FAA published a notice this week clarifying that the only real essential change noticed by the average pilot would be the removal of the term emergency from the chart legend when referring to private airfields. The FAA clarified that it determines the inclusion of such fields based on their use as a landmark, and those criteria will remain unchanged, leaving any previously charted private airports just as they were before the updated cycle. The updated notice states that, quote, aeronautical charts users should not see a significant change to private airports depicted on VFR charts, end quote. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne, and don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching!